My name is Teresa Cochran. I'm from Orlando, Florida, and I've been a paralegal for 27 years. My father originally was a member of the PPA, was going to the annual conventions that were held here. And so I went with him a couple of years, and recently they had a position come open on the board, and I am now the secretary of the PPA. So my father's been genetically diagnosed. He was clinically diagnosed in his early 20s. So he's 80 now. It's hypokalemic periodic paralysis. Later on in my father's life, in his 70s, he was finally genetically diagnosed with hypokalemic periodic paralysis. Since it's hereditary, I know that I have that as well. I don't believe I ever really knew about it because he was pretty high functioning himself. He always went to work every day. I don't even know if he missed a day of work. But as I got older, we talked about it and it would happen. I remember being 13 and going on a skiing trip to Breckenridge, Colorado, and my parents giving me this orange effervescent tablet. I was doing a lot. I was very active in my life. I was in ballet from the age of 4. I was a lifeguard for 5 years in my teenage up into my early 20s. But it was when I was 15 that I had gone to my grandmother's house in Jacksonville, Florida, for a family birthday party. And she has one of those old 1940s bungalow houses with the one AC unit in the kitchen window, and that's it. And she also only turned the AC on by a certain date of the year. So I think we were, there was 10 of us in the house. We had cake, we had cookie, there was chips, there was soda. No one knew I had this. We never talked about it, but I woke up that morning completely paralyzed from the neck down. I woke up my cousin and I said, I'm paralyzed. Go get my parents. I was lucky and fortunate that my parents were sleeping in one of the back bedrooms. They totally knew what was going on. They grabbed me and picked me up and they carried me back to the back bedroom and they started assessing me, and they were they started feeding me potassium, the orange potassium tablets. And then they explained to me. And I said, "You think it would be good if you told me I had this?" And they were like, "Well, you had it one time before when you were 4 years old, same house. My mother's father had passed away. We were there for the funeral, but I don't recall it happening. So since then, it's only happened full paralysis for me only a couple more times in my life, once in my 20s, once in my 30s, as I started to navigate and figure out how to manage the disease." My triggers are high carb meals, extreme exercise, and severely cold weather. So when 2 of the triggers show up, I know I'm going down. It wasn't until I was older, I would say 30, that I was taking it was a blood pressure medication my doctor had prescribed to me, which my doctor at the time didn't know that I had periodic paralysis. Because I was able to live without ever taking the potassium. it's not anything I ever had to deal with. But I was getting high blood pressure, so she gave me, it happened to be a potassium draining blood pressure medicine. So I was at the office on the 8th floor, downtown Orlando in a high rise, and they had one of those fire drills where everyone has to walk down the stairs. There's your extreme exercise. And the pill was the other factor. That was one of the only times when I was having a problem. Then we figured out it was the blood pressure pill that was the problem. And I tried to explain to my doctor what I had, and she's like, "You don't have that." So she wouldn't prescribe me what I needed. I was always getting potassium from my father, so I just left that doctor and I had to start with a new doctor. I went to a practice where my father went, so they would understand. If there's ever a time I'm traveling, lifting luggage, I know I'm going to get on and off multiple planes, vacations where you're doing a lot of hiking, I'll take it as a precaution. Since 2000, so what has that been, 21 years, I changed my eating habits, eating low carb. I sometimes do paleo diet. All the bread that I eat is gluten-free, it's all in the freezer. None of it has preservatives in it, or I make the bread and it's a paleo. I would say I maybe take potassium now once a week, twice a week at the most, just because I know that I'm getting older and I can see that I just need to kind of manage it. I know that everyone else is different. Other people may need more potassium. My father actually was not taking a lot of potassium in his earlier years that are, where I'm at now in my life, and he now takes a lot more potassium. My parents have moved into a retirement community where they can get assistance. So even though my mother is there to help him to travel out and do anything, he's got to be in a wheelchair. She can only do so much for him. So there's somewhere where they can pull a cord and, someone will come and help if they need help. And I don't know how many more years they'll be able to do that before they have to hire someone to help him. I have a blog. I'm a writer as well, and it's called findingyourself.blog.com. And I write articles on everything, like finding your confidence, finding your strength, finding your people. And I wrote one called Finding Your Zebra, which tells the story of how I found out I have periodic paralysis. I have a recent article called Finding Your Love Life, Part 1, because there's going to be a Part 2. I decided I wasn't going to wait to write it. I wasn't going to wait till my happy ending to write it. I'm going to start now, and I don't know how many parts there are going to be.
If you would like to know more about periodic paralysis, visit periodicparalysis.org. And if you enjoyed this video and want more, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell so you don't miss any future videos. It really does help spread the word. You can view other videos about periodic paralysis by clicking the thumbnails to the right. If you have questions, just leave a comment below or reach out to us on social media. We'd love to hear from you.